Okay, let's turn to a few romantic poems, starting with "I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud" by William Wordsworth. This picture is very telling. It gives you the scenery. So it's about a poet persona who walks along a lake in the Lake District in the north of England, sees a host of daffodils, here you see the daffodils, and contemplates the beauty of the natural scenery surrounding him. The clouds up there, you see those. Let's first of all read the whole poem and then discuss it in detail. Okay, here it is. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending light along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. Okay. I would like to read the poem as a poetological poem. Poetological poem means a poem about poetry, a poem about the composition of poetry. And the first step I would take is very much worthwhile here, is looking for word fields. And we can identify two word fields here. One is happiness and movement, and the other is concerned with seeing. Perception through the eyes. So at least in the first three stanzas, there's somebody walking through this scenery of happiness and movement and sees, and the important thing is, with his eyes, the natural scenery. So here we go. There you see, you have the movement, wandering. I wandered, and they float. Okay, or the cloud floats. And there you have fluttering and dancing, and you have the twinkling of the Milky Way. So the poem, the daffodils are compared to the Milky Way. A beautiful, very imaginative imagery. The Milky Way, which is up there, and the twinkling of the stars is very reminiscent of the daffodils, or vice versa. And this is what you have in Wordsworth. I mean, you have a lot of upward movement always. I mean, there's always some smoke going up and trees going up into the air, and the Milky Way and things like that, which means the cloud, of course. Everything up, transcendent to at least, dominion of God. Okay, so twinkling, and then they are tossing their heads, these daffodils, okay, in sprightly dance. And sprightly means cheerful, okay? So movement, cheerfulness, and then a lot of seeing. I saw a crowd, 10,000 saw I at a glance, and glance, of course, means seeing too. Same is true for the next stanza, okay? Here we go. Once again, you have dancing, you have sparkling, and then you have a glee, gay, and jocund, all of them meaning happy, okay, more or less, cheerful, happy. Waves in glee. Glee is happiness. Gay is happy, and jocund is happy. And then again you have the seeing, gazing, and the show, all that. So, and if you have identified these word fields, you already know what's going on. I mean, natural scenery, a lot of movement, a lot of beauty, happiness, and this is what the poet persona sees. And we have to see one thing here. There are two ways of seeing for a romantic. You can see with your eyes, or you can see with your heart. It's, of course, clear what is superior. Seeing with your eyes, everybody does that. But you have to see with your heart, mind, and soul. And this very romantic sense impression get into you And it takes some time for them to be transformed into something, the heart, mind, and soul, which later on makes you into a different human being. So heart, mind, and soul are very synonymous for William Wordsworth. What we have in the first three stanzas to say that, it's a seeing with the eyes, not yet with the heart, mind, and soul. This is the last stanza. The movement slows down suddenly, this tossing their heads and dancing and all these things, movement slowing down, and the seeing is internalized, becoming thinking. Okay, yeah. So, and at least what happens, the pleasure, the happiness, which was outside, becomes the pleasure of the poet inside, and this is all what's going to happen in the last stanza. Okay. Here we go. For often on my couch I lie. You see, lie is not movement anymore. Vacant or pensive. Vacant means empty, but pensive is thinking. Okay, here we go. Pensive mood. Yeah? And then something happens when he lies on his couch at home in his room. They flash upon that inward eye. And the inward eye is exactly that, the heart, mind, and soul. Now the transformative process takes place. Yeah? These sense impressions, which is only taken in with his eyes, become part of himself because they flash upon the inward eye. You have the outward eye and you have the inward eye. Okay? And this is the bliss of solitude. And bliss, solitude is another word for tranquility, if you like. I mean, what this is, in the end, is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, recollected in solitude. Tranquility. Okay? And the outcome of it all is that this happiness, this outside happiness, becomes the pleasure of the poet. And then my heart, mind, and soul, with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Okay? So basically what I Want to Learn as a Cloud is a small preface to the lyrical ballads, if you like. It's the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, and we get to know how it happens. You go outside, you see things, you don't really know what they mean to you. Yeah, you little thought what wealth the show to me had brought, but suddenly, okay, when you're at home, you realize what it did to you and what it does to you, and then the transformative process takes place. So it's, in a way, the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings exemplified here in I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Before that, you don't know what it means to you. Only when you're at home in tranquility, it comes back. Another poem I would like to talk about briefly, a few stanzas, The Tables Turned. And The Tables Turned is deals with the discussion, what is more worthwhile? Knowledge you can, in a way, extract from nature through sense impressions, or book knowledge. Okay? It's no discussion. And a romantic, of course, would say, go outside into nature because this is much, much better than reading books by dead men. And this is exactly what the poem is about. Yeah? There's some speaker. Okay, a poet persona. Up, my friend, and quit your books, or surely you grow double. Up, my friend, and clear your looks. Why all this toil and trouble? Okay, so why do you read books? Why this trouble? Okay, why? Because, look outside. The sun above the mountain's head, a freshening lustre mellow, through all the long green fields has spread his first sweet evening yellow. There's a sunset outside. It's beautiful. Go outside. Forget your books. Okay? Forget your books. And then there is, I left out two stanzas, but yes, because why should you forget about your books? Books! It is a dull and endless strife. Come hear the woodland linnet. How sweet his music on my life. There's more of wisdom in it. There's more wisdom in a bird song than in books. This is romantic, okay? There's more of wisdom in the song of a bird. The same thing, yeah? The next stanza. One impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of man, of moral evil and of good than all the sages can. The sages are those people who wrote the books. Okay, so one impulse from the wood, from the forest outside, okay, can teach you more than all the books by those sages, the wise men who wrote the books, okay? Yeah, exactly, very romantic. Sweet is the law which nature brings. Our meddling intellect misshapes the beauteous forms of things we murder to dissect. Wow. Basically, I mean, this is against science. Okay, so go outside and get an impulse from the green wood, and what nature brings you there is much better than what you can achieve with your intellect. Okay, and because your intellect does what? Your intellect does science, and they say we murder to dissect. I mean, it talks about, in a way, those scientists who just look at butterflies just to kill them and put a needle through them and pin them on the wall. We murder to dissect, or dissect. Yeah? We murder to dissect. Wow, okay. The intellect does that. No intellect. Feeling is the important thing. Yeah, here you see again the dichotomy between intellect, which is more 18th century, and feeling on the other side, emotion, which is, of course, romantic. So, very critical towards science, which is the theme of the last stanza. Enough of science and of art. Close up those barren leaves. Yeah? Close up the leaves of the book. Come forth and bring with you a heart that watches and receives. Same thing as in I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Yeah, you go out and watch with your heart, like the daffodils. Yeah, with your heart. Your heart has to watch and to receive. So you get it through your eyes into your heart, and this is the transformative process. Okay. Yeah, this is the table stand, and exactly, big discussion in Romantic times. Yeah, book knowledge versus going out into nature. And all the Romantics would have said, I mean, go out into nature and look at things. It teaches you more than reading books. And by the way, this in a way you find also in Goethe's Faust. Goethe's Faust, who sits in his study all day reading books and knows they don't lead to anything. And he tries Romanticism, but he fails. Okay. When he sits there in his study and says, O sähst du, holder Mondenschein, zum letzten Mal auf meine Pein, die ich so manche Mitternacht an diesem Pult herangewacht, dann über Büchern und Papier, trübseliger Freund, erschienst du mir. Der Mond. The moon comes. Then he contemplates if he could go outside, I mean, to look at the moon and things. Or könnte ich doch auf Bergeshöhen in deinem süßen Lichte gehen? And he goes on like that. But he can't. Yeah? Romanticism doesn't work for him either, in a way. So he's stuck. Yeah? But he tries. And this is exactly, I mean, this is one thing which goes on in Goethe's Faust, part 1, this discussion here. Book knowledge versus knowledge you can get outside in nature. Osterspaziergang, vom Eise befreit sind Strom und Bäche von des Frühlings, and so on. Okay, yeah, you should see that. The point is clear. Yeah, for romantic, yes. It's a bit cheating also. I mean, we know Wordsworth read a lot of books. He must have. I mean, he knew Milton probably by heart. Okay, oh, he's read it all. So sometimes you think, I mean, yes, you can say that. Go out into nature and listen to birds and the trees and, I don't know, the leaves and whatever. After you have read all of Shakespeare, all of Milton, all of Homer, and of course, yeah, I mean, he was one of the most learned men of his times. Okay, let's stop here. Okay, William Wordsworth.